First of all, thanks to each one of you for being here for this session, because I think it has been absolutely profound, the way the discussion has been on disruptive technology, innovation. I think it's amazing. I'm an investment banker, and I deal a lot with the SMEs, and my strength lies in raising equity money for them. Occasionally, we also raise debt from banks and NBFC. But I can tell you, after hearing the speakers today, as well as the scenario that I'm looking at, I think things are not that difficult as it used to be before. You have 5 crore MSMEs in this country, giving population to almost 11 crore. That's like 10% of the population of this country. And you know how much it contributes to GDP? 38%. No wonder, we are the fastest growing nation in the world when we take the GDP. Because MSMEs, they contribute to that level. What I'm trying to communicate is that there are avenues for getting money, either as debt and equity, but what is essential is to understand that one needs to have a good capital structure, that is mix of debt and equity, and we have experts from the industry to discuss with us. So without taking much of your time, I'm going to leave it to you, sir, first.
The Prime Minister has really has given a a target or something to the MSME. He gives a lot of importance to the MSME Secretariat to ensure that the policies are driven. And bankers are also being driven. And they have to comply with certain norms. They have to finance so much of MSMEs and all that. The Prime Minister has also issued a directive that no collateral, up to 2 crores for MSME. It has been raised in 2016. So still the mindset in the banks has still not changed. The approach is still backward. And that is the bane of the industry. We have to go on coercing them. Sometimes you have to use your pressure tactics, or you have to be a little forceful in getting things done. Interest rates, we ask for interest rates. It varies, 11, 12%, 13% also. It becomes very difficult to do business at with that kind of interest rates. And we keep telling them to consider, they say go for credit rating. I said, credit rating, again you have to spend 60,000 rupees to get your credit rating done by Cryolor or anybody. Okay, every year you can't keep spending that kind of money to do your rating. We are banking day in and day out with our bank. The bank should be the right person to assess your credit rating. He knows who you are credit rating, but that, I don't know what sort of formulas they follow, and this is always a tussle between the bank and the industry. This is an ongoing conflict which keeps on going, and this is one of the point of conflicts for every small industry. Regarding finances of a small industry, if the receivables are not received on time, that is the reason why he is not able to pay his bank, or he is not able to pay his loans, and he is not able to pay his creditors. So this becomes and if he is not paying for 3 months, it becomes an NPA. And this is also a negative point, and then your credit rating goes down. Yeah. So these are lots of issues in the MSME sector, and I understand that this is being addressed by the government. Now another new thing is from the cash credit limit has been increased from 20% to 25% for SMEs. This is one information. And you can also access a portal called Udayam Mitra. And in this portal, you get all for the loan accesses and all that you have that. There's another new body. I was talking to the president of a company. There's a company, this is called Receivables Exchange of India, RXIL. And this Receivables Exchange of India, if you raise a bill on a big corporate, and this bill will be bought by this exchange, and they will be the media persons who will pay you the money. It's just like factoring. You get your money, and they will collect it from the corporate. It has been a newly started body from the National Stock Exchange.
I'm going to hand over the mic now to Madam Kohila.
I had the privilege of being an entrepreneur once, running a company for 7 years, and then getting into employment at manager finance, and now being a CFO for a company. I do know the problems faced by entrepreneurs at the startup level. And then as a CFO, now when I look at it as an entrepreneur, what are the pitfalls I faced, or what mistakes I did, I think as a CFO, it's a different role, and as an entrepreneur, it's a different role. As an entrepreneur, when you start running a company, you don't look at the finance part. Though I am a chartered accountant, I know finance very well, everything. But as an entrepreneur, I don't think I had the time to look at those matters. We are very busy creating the company, running the business, getting the sales, getting into production, and all that. And as when we say about bankers, yes, bankers had that problem, like I too did not have collateral to give and all this, so I couldn't grow very big at a faster pace. Then I moved to employment. But when I do look at a CFO, I feel like the mistake lies is when we start a business, I always now advise people, small entrepreneurs who start business, have an accountant by your side, write down all the expenses, because when we have money, we just spend it. And after that, we do not know why we have spent it, for what purpose we have spent it, could have avoided those expenditure and all that, we do not know as such. So when we say about an accountant or a small package or an Excel sheet, whatever it is, please maintain any bits of expenses, even if it's small, very small, please maintain all bits of expenses. I don't want to go into much details of finance and then give all the jargon like CapEx, OpEx, budgeting, cash flow, because I feel all the small entrepreneurs do have the problem of finding out the right people who will give them advice to direct them. But I feel as small entrepreneurs, you all should join as an association, find a person, and on a retainer or something, keep getting advices every month to know like where you are going. Are you heading in the right direction? Because I do give advices, or I have been giving consultancy to small entrepreneurs to start up companies. And when they come to me, it is at the, what you say, roadblock. Like they have used all the money, they have used all the resources, now they have no way to go anywhere, and then they will say, please help me out, how do I come out of this? So it's very difficult to help them out, because they wanted to avoid tax, so the balance sheet and P&L will not help us to go to banks. 3 years of profitability statement they will ask, but they would not have, all would have been in a loss. Then to go for equity or to get some kind of a joint venture or to get equity, if I have to do due diligence, they have avoided compliance and they would have been in a problem. So once a person starts as an entrepreneur or starts a business, I feel like he should have a vision. From now, 1 year from now, where do I want to go? 3 years from now, where do I want to go? Because everybody doesn't think like, as a proprietor, I might move to a private limited company. As a private limited company, I might move to a public limited. I might get listed. So when people have bigger visions, then the working also will grow in that way. But if people meet everyday needs and everyday issues only, then when they want to become private limited, it might not be in a position, the status of the company, the balance sheet would not be in a good status, or they have to pay a lot of capital gains. It could be favorable, unfavorable. If they want to go listing, it becomes a problem. They would not have met a lot of compliance and the company can never be listed. So I feel like as an entrepreneur, just have a vision. With your knowledge, put some kind of a budgeting, have an accounts detail as what's going on, have knowledge about banking rules and what are the schemes available as such.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you have beautifully said cost containment adds to the cash flow. I want to wind up with this statement, and I think it's a very important statement. Please embrace technology. Look at companies which are funding you via technology, like the P2P that we have discussed, crowdfunding. There are companies like Millap, Keto, Wishberry. Look at the opportunities of getting funds from there. The P2P lending, including FairSend, apart from lending card and capital float, Bank Bazaar that we have spoken of, I think that's a very important aspect. And second is, I think even within bank, you should look out for unique products. Yes, bank, they spoke about certain unique products. You should have, the capability to meet the bankers, explain your business and find out if a product suits your business, which means it need not be necessarily one bank. I think you should look for multiple banks, including NBFCs, because even this CGT MSE scheme, NBFCs can provide the same 2 crores limit. So on that note, thank you so much.